Hey, how's it going everyone? My name's Atlantis, and in this video I'm covering Dune Awakening, a new persistent open world survival MMO set in the Dune universe. The announcement trailer came out a few weeks ago, and we're going to look at all those details plus things you might have missed and even dabble in potential Easter eggs for the future of the game. Dune Awakening is being developed by Funcom, the creators of the Conan Exile survival game, and with the release of Dune Part 2 in theaters and a TV series scheduled for late 2024 called Dune Prophecies, there's a lot of traction and hype right now revolving around the Dune IP. The game is using Unreal Engine 5.2, and with that, the vistas and worldscapes look really good and what you'd expect from Unreal 5. The visuals really bring out the aspects we all know and love of the world of Arrakis, like the desert, as well as the unique vehicles, caverns, and structures. When it comes to the game's story, it's similar to the books, but it actually takes place in an alternate universe. The developers have worked closely with both the Herbert family and Legendary Pictures to find a single point in time that starts a landslide of events, and we'll find out more about this later on. So while many of the pillars of Dune will be recognizable, this will be an alternate timeline of sorts. The planet is of course made up of the harsh desert sands and home to the dangerous sandworms and intense heat from the sun. Players won't be able to ride or kill these sandworms, but will be able to bait them using thumpers, and these sandworms will operate as kind of a tension mechanic that will kill players who aren't careful or get caught off guard. Shelter, traversal, and water are very important aspects to the survival aspect of the game. You'll have to craft vehicles such as the sandbike to help traverse across distances, and will also have access to the iconic ornithopters that we saw in the movies. Surviving the heat and obtaining water and moisture will be incredibly important, and there will be various ways to get water, like moisture from plants, to killing enemies and using their blood to filter into water as well. You'll need to time your movement and actions carefully by traveling in dark shade during the day or travel by night. The developers stated they wanted these aspects to feel challenging but not punishing, and I'm sure we'll find out more on their philosophy in more detail as they unveil more tenets of the game. Arrakis is a large open world, beautiful yet deadly, and full of secrets for players who are up to the challenge. Exploration will be another major key, as they want to entice players to explore and reward those who venture outside of the shield wall. The sands shift during Coriolis storms, and the entire map changes, revealing new secrets that may be swept away on the next storm. So this seems to imply you'll want to adventure and explore as much as possible so you don't miss out on what could be unique schematics, trainers, or items possibly. I'd imagine that this might work on some type of randomized rotation of sorts, so in the event you miss out on something, you'll eventually be able to find it at another time, and some other things might be more rare than others. This sounds pretty exciting, and if done well, could really help in keeping the game feel like a living and breathing, ever-changing world. Dune Awakening will also bring social elements of the MMO genre, including guilds, player grouping, political conflict, as well as factions. It's been pretty clear that we'll most likely align with either House Atreides or the Harkonnens, but a screenshot description on the actual Dune Awakening website describes a town where both houses, along with smugglers, come to buy and sell products or services on Arrakis. Does this mean we could see a third faction incorporating smugglers, or will that be a PvE element mixed in? Let me know what you guys think, and if there is a third faction, what others come to mind. You can of course play solo or with other players, join guilds, and play with friends to do contracts and journey missions. You'll be able to pick up knock teammates and use a ping system, so I'm really interested to see the depth of the multiplayer side of things, but it seems like it'll be pretty involved and a major factor in the general gameplay sessions for players. When it comes to combat, the game features third-person combat and focuses on what they're calling combined arms, allowing you to mix and match between melee, ranged weapons, gadgets, abilities, and vehicles to really fine-tune your ideal playstyle. When you create your character, you'll pick your backstory and select a mentor that kind of gets you started with your base kit for combat, and as you progress in the world, you'll come across other trainers that can teach you new abilities and melee techniques, or how to potentially use other weapon types and gadgets. So it seems like you won't be locked into one specific style of combat, and over time, you can pick up additional ways to outfit your character. In one of the game videos, they reference being able to use the voice and get enemies to come close where you can stab them, or play as a sword master leaping in with a knee lunge. It also looks like there'll be gadgets and ranged weapons to choose from, including a type of grapple hook and sniper weapon. A lot of this looks really good, but I'm hoping to see some more in-depth melee combat in future videos, as what we've seen so far seems pretty limited or kept close to the vest. And when I think about the melee combat, I really want to embody the speed and assassin-type fighting and agility that we saw in the movies. Crafting, of course, is another major staple of these types of games, and you'll be able to build equipment and vehicles, which can then be customized with modules to adapt to different gameplay scenarios and needs. The games will have a schematic system where you can find schematics and use them to create unique items to use yourself or sell to other players on an exchange, and players will craft items, weapons, attachments, armor, and more. The game features a player-driven economy and will support thousands of players per server who will be able to control resources, prices, and even item supply and demand, with some items potentially being craftable only by specific players on the server. This could be a really cool way for players to stand out in the community or work together within factions or guilds to make a name or acquire prestige. You'll use different gadgets and tools to harvest resources like stone, copper, iron, and eventually steel, and players will also search desert for spice, the universe's most sought-out commodity, spice blows, and other rare items to increase wealth and power. Another part of crafting will involve building out a base to help various aspects of your day-to-day and shield you from the treacherous conditions of Arrakis. The few clips we've seen so far of the housing system look really good. I really like how you can add various corridors or windows, and in doing so, the light is reflected into the space in different ways. This is due to the lumen system the game is using, which makes the lighting feel more authentic and changes ambience depending on the way everything is set up. When it comes to your base, you'll also be able to build with friends through co-op building. You'll be able to use holograms and let other players fill in parts of the base, which is a nice feature for players looking to build together. One of the coolest aspects of base building is that you'll also be able to sell the blueprint of your base to other players or buy blueprints as well. So if you come up with a really cool design or effective build, there might be ways to increase your wealth and prestige through building itself. The team also mentions being able to set up temporary outposts outside of the shield walls, so it sounds like you'll have a more permanent base and then options to set up outposts that will probably be subject to destruction. I've never really enjoyed having things destroyed while I was offline or to Zergs, so this might be a really nice blend of having a more permanent housing progression and then the more typical survival trope of building structures that can be destroyed. Next, let's talk PvP. There's player versus player in the game, and you can do this solo or with other players. Group sizes are not known yet, but it's important to note that there are no forced PvP areas. The game world has specific regions for PvP, and outside of those regions, you're not an eligible target for player versus player. So this might be good news for players who really tend to shy away from PvP engagements, as you'll get to choose when you want to participate, and for players who like PvP, you'll have the option to do so and put your skills and strategies to the test. Dune Awakening is currently in closed beta testing, and they'll be inviting more players for future closed beta tests. If you're interested, make sure to sign up on the official website, which I'll link in the description, and you can wishlist the game on Steam. There isn't a release date yet, and the team has stated it will take as long as it takes before they release it officially. It will release on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and on PC. There hasn't been any official word yet on crossplay, so we'll have to keep an eye out for any news on that, as well if there will be private servers. My guess would probably be not, since the team emphasized having a player-driven economy, and I don't really know how private servers would work well or be balanced at all with something like that. Nonetheless, I'm really excited, and I'll definitely be covering much more of this game as more news drops. So if you want to keep up to date with the game and you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and drop a like on the video, as it helps me out a great deal. I'd also love to know what you're excited for when it comes to the game, so let me know in the comments below. That does it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you all the best, and see you in the next one.